What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today is North Carolina Tar Heels football. In particular, first-year defensive coordinator Geoff Collins. I have written 3 stories for this offseason about Geoff Collins and done multiple podcasts. We've done The Minister of Mayhem, The Creator of Chaos. We've done Money Down. All those things. Now, I'm going to zero in on something quite specific. And that is when most of the when I read or hear most of the commentary from the average fan about Geoff Collins, they're having a hard time getting past what he did as head coach at Georgia Tech. They're struggling because it was a disaster when he was at Georgia Tech. It was a colossal disaster. I've talked to people who cover Georgia Tech. They said it was an unmitigated disaster. They just didn't know what he's doing. You know what? Okay. There are a lot of jobs I go into or you'd go into right now, you just wouldn't know what you're doing, even if it's in the same field. The reality is most head coaches get fired in major college football, major college basketball. Very few ever get to determine when their time is up. And all of them eventually get those head coaching jobs because they were successful coordinators somewhere. You're a great coordinator at school X, Y, or Z, and you eventually get promoted to head coach somewhere. So, being a bad head coach doesn't mean you're a bad coordinator. Being a great coordinator doesn't mean you're going to be a great head coach. It usually doesn't work out. And it didn't work out with Geoff Collins. He was 10-28 overall, 7-19 at Georgia Tech, let go during his 4th season there. Took last year off, went around, visited some buddies, watched some practices, was chomping at the bit to get back in, and North Carolina had an opening. Mac Brown called, and it worked. Went ahead and got hired. He is now the defensive coordinator at North Carolina. So what part of his career should Carolina fans judge? You can't carve out the Georgia Tech stuff simply because everybody that's a Carolina football fan saw that. And it wasn't just it was bad football. It's just a lot of strange stuff in the program. Okay, he's not the head of this program anymore. He brought some of those strange things back. Money Down's coming to Chapel Hill. Now, I thought Money Down was a little weird, to be honest with you. It's not a criticism of Geoff. I just thought it was weird. I mean, they had the PA guy. You go to a game at Georgia Tech, it's time for the Money Down. I mean, it's really, really weird and annoying. And I don't know if the PA guys can do that in Chapel Hill this year. I don't think Carolina fans will embrace that much. The players have, and that's what's important. The conveying the importance of 3rd down is huge. And I'm going to throw some stats out here to back up why, you know what? By November, if it's working, most Carolina fans will just look the other way at the whole Money Down stuff, and there's going to be giant dollar signs. It's all coming, man. If you remember it from Georgia Tech, it's coming to Chapel Hill. The difference is he's the coordinator now, not the head coach. So what was he as a coordinator? First of all, he was the first coordinator ever nominated for the Frank Broyles Award at 3 different schools. So if you say, oh, he went to Florida, they had a lot of talent. Well, he was also at Mississippi State. So he's at different schools that had different varying degrees of talent, and he got nominated for the most prestigious award for assistant coaches. So he can coach. All right. Now, he had top 10 defenses both seasons when he was at Florida. In 2015, he had 3 players that were first team All SEC. 2016, Florida led the nation in pass defense efficiency. That would be music to Tar Heel ears, given all the breakdowns that they've seen in the past in the secondary. He had 2 top 25 defenses at Mississippi State. Less talent, SEC West, better division than the SEC East. In 2014, Mississippi State led the SEC in sacks. They were number one nationally in red zone defense. That team was ranked number one in the major polls for a couple of weeks. The coordinator was Geoff Collins. Now, I mentioned money down. I think one of the biggest criticisms that I had of Jay Bateman, I had of Gene Chizik, was the fact that the defense could not get off the field. I'm going to read some grotesque numbers, but they're important to understand. Carolina, in the last 4 years, they were ranked number 118, 127, and 123 in first downs allowed. The average ranking is 121.5 in first downs allowed over the last 4 seasons. Can't get off the field. Money down stuff there was no money down. Geoff Collins, in his 2 years as DC at Mississippi State, 2 years as DC at Florida, number 17 and 70 at MSU, number 30 and number 7 at Florida, the average ranking 31. And that's with all that other stuff. So, Carolina, 121.5, Collins, 31. He's a different coordinator than he was a head coach. His eccentricities, I think, are much better in the confined role of a coordinator than as a head coach. Too eccentric to be a head coach. I know he was 15 and 10 at Temple, which is a historically bad program. He gave it a juice injection. And the year after he left, Temple was in a bowl game. I get it. It's Temple. Too eccentric for the ACC as a head coach, but not as a coordinator. And I think Carolina's going to see a considerable difference defensively. If the pass efficiency defense can improve by 40%, 50%, which is possible, if in concert the first downs allowed are down, and if there's more pressure on the quarterback, there's more throwaways, there's more scrambles, and there are more interceptions thrown. And of course, sacks. These are all things that his defenses are designed to do. The mentality is to do those things. The mentality is to put offenses on their heels. No pun intended. So judge Geoff Collins as a coordinator, guys. The season's getting closer and people are really concerned about the defense. Judge as you go into the season, judge him for what he's done as a coordinator, not what he did as a head coach. I'm not saying that Carolina's going to make huge differences and he's going to be a great coordinator at Carolina. We don't know. But he's a proven commodity as a coordinator. And that's the only thing that matters. Whatever he did as a head coach, the only thing that could do to help him right now is the fact that he was a head coach. So it's going to help. But it's not that big. If you are excited about Geoff Collins, the coordinator, and you disregard whatever he was as a head coach, go ahead and click like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Share this video and share our whole page, our whole YouTube channel. Share it with your Carolina friends. Let them know we are here. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload, which is often. I'm AJ. Thanks for stopping by.